Good morning, students. I would like to take another topic this time around, school mapping. When we say school mapping, and what are the things, presentation map, what are the things that is expected to know under this school mapping this morning? We like to look at what school mapping is all about, objective of school mapping, importance of school mapping, historical background and evaluation, the role of school mapping in the educational policy, type of educational planning, link between school mapping and national development goal, equity, accessibility, and quality in the education. And we have a prevention, you have a question and any discussion to pass across, you can rightly do that. The importance of school mapping in Nigeria today cannot be jettison. More than ever before, has been a critical aspect of education management in all uh, the states of the federation. Error in school mapping could result in serious imbalance in educational development that could take decades or even a century to correct or to rectify. Thus, it is necessary for educational managers and policymakers, the political authority, to have a clear understanding or conception of what school mapping entails if they are to accord it the necessary attention it deserves in the educational landscape. When we look at what school mapping is all about, it's very important that need to be taken into to give serious attention or to give rapt attention so that the the goals of educational policy can be really achieved. That will take us to what school mapping is all about. And what is school mapping? School mapping, it depends on how you visualize it, but the salient points in the definition of school mapping, there's some things that you must not take away. School mapping is a systematic process used in educational planning to analyze, design, and optimize the distribution and capacity of educational facilities within the region. Analyze, you design, you optimize the distribution of that educational policy. It involves assessing the current and future educational needs of a population and ensuring that schools are strategically located and adequately resourced to meet these needs. Another definition that you can refer to as school mapping or assessment of the availability of schooling facility for elementary education based on norms and the standard specified in the schedule to the act in terms of location, infrastructure, teachers or lecturers as it may be, and distance matrix between schools and habitation, and includes planning school location for the purpose of session as was stated in section 6 as to overcome some of the social, developmental and geographical barriers and geographical distance or distance as it may be. We can also say school mapping has to be sited or located in a good and conducive environment so that the purpose can be achieved. Not only that, it should be free from danger for the enhancement of students' academic achievement. School mapping also should be focused on appropriate site for the location of schools, because school cannot just site on any area. It depends on what. No, school is a separate entity, it's a separate thing that needs to be located in a conducive and a good environment. School mapping is a prescriptive or prospective approach to micro planning of school location. In that wise, you have to recognize uh, to prevent the school requirements, to determine the social optimum environment of learning for the achievement of educational objectives. That will take us to what are the objectives of the school mapping. To ensure the accessibility, for it promotes equity, then optimizing resources, then at the same time it enhance educational planning, improving quality of education, adapting to population trend, because the world is going at a faster rate. So it will look at it can project for the future. Then supporting inclusive education, then monitoring and evaluation. Therefore, in a nutshell, the ultimate of school mapping, the ultimate goal of school mapping, or the ultimate objective of school mapping, is to improve access to quality education, promote equity, uh, ensure that education facilities are effectively meeting the needs of their communities. This serve as a vital tool for policymakers, helping them to make informed decisions about where to invest in the educational infrastructure. And that's one of the major goals, that is for equitable and distribution uh, of educational resources. It will assist the policymakers, people in authority, so that they will know how to distribute the resources uh, at least moderately and equally. What are the importance of school mapping? Equitable access. Ensure all children, especially in rural or underserved areas, have access to quality education. How about the resource optimization? Help to allocate educational resources like to teachers, classroom, and learning materials as it may be, efficiently and effectively. This will enable them to know uh, how to allocate, how to distribute the resources available without being cheating. It will improve planning too. Uh, it support decision making for building, upgrading or consolidating school based on population trends and educational demand. Adaptation to change. One of the another importance of school mapping is to enable them to adapt to any changes that occur at any time. Challenges like urbanization, population growth, population trend, immigration by aligning educational infrastructure with shifting demographics. Policy implementation. It guides the policymakers in achieving universal education goals, reducing disparities, and promoting inclusive education. And at the same time, the trend, I will not go deeply into it. I will just tell us briefly the trend, historical background, and evolution of this school mapping. We have the pre-modern era. What did I mean by this? Informal school planning based on population clusters, often without systematic mapping on equity considerations. Before the modernization, school are just being cited anyhow without proper school mapping, and that has caused a lot of problem. So the first one is pre-modern era, then post-World War II. This increased focus on education as a tool for national development, leading to more structured educational planning. Since modernization has set in after the after the 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 post World II, when we receive our anatomy, you know, after then there are kind of changes, there are increased focus on education as a tool, and that promotes the coming alive of one school mapping. They take into consideration that surely there is need for proper school mapping. In the years 1960s to 1970s, adoption of school mapping in developing countries, driven by international agencies and organizations like UNESCO. Is then they give gradual attention to what school mapping is all about. In 1980s to 90s, integration of geographical information system for improved accuracy and visualization in school mapping. The present day era, advanced data analysts and uh, geographical information system tools enable more precise and dynamic planning with a focus on inclusivity, quality and sustainability. With you know they focus more on inclusive education, then quality and sustainability, whereby everybody were taken into consideration irrespective of your capability. School mapping take all those into consideration because not all schools are the same, and those things are being taken into consideration. The role of school mapping educational policy, I will just try to just highlight because I've explained that under the briefly under importance of school mapping. The role of school mapping in educational policy now: guiding resources allocation, then promoting inclusive education, as I've said, that evolution of present day, it gave room for inclusive education. Then supporting universal education goals by contributing to achieving international goals like the sustainable development goals, that is quality education is number 4 goal, that is quality education, that certain year every school, every child or all the children must have or attain at least quality education. Then enabling evidence-based planning, ensure policies are based on accurate data, fostering transparency and accountability. That's one of the roles of school mapping educational policy. Addressing regional inequalities. People that are from urban or rural, they have a kind of, so that the people in rural area, they will not be neglected. So it gave a kind of enabling evidence of planning, that accurate data, fostering accountability and transparency. Then improving crisis responses, crisis in aids in planning for post disaster for conflict situation by identifying areas in urgent needs of educational support. That take us to types of educational planning: indicative planning, perspective planning, contingency planning, then operational planning. I've discussed that more in the class. The link between school mapping and national development goals. Uh, it promotes universal education. School mapping and national development goal. We know what educational development goal is all about. I talk about it briefly. Then it promotes universal education, align with the goals for sustainable development goal, as I said, that equitable and inclusive of giving recognition to inclusive education. Then support economic growth. Education foster a skilled workforce, contributing to national productivity and development. Not only that, reduce inequalities. I've been mentioning that, people from urban area and from the rural area. School mapping address regional and socio-economic disparities, ensuring equal access to education. That is the normal rule, normal norms. All students should have equal access to education. Improves public health. Proximity of school encourages enrollment, improving literacy and awareness of health and hygiene. Then enhance gender equality By locating schools closer to communities, school mapping can encourage girls' education. Unlike before, that is did that and no. Girls' education ends in kitchen. That is old adage, not today. That girls also have equality in education, and school mapping link this with the national development. Then we have disaster preparedness and recovery, helps in rebuilding and planning education infrastructure post-crisis to ensure continuity in educational system. That will take us to the last but not the least for this under this lecture: equity, accessibility and quality in education. School mapping give a kind of equity, accessibility and quality in education. Equity ensures all students, regardless of social economy, wherever you are, wherever your background is all about, wherever the parents you came from, wherever the background was ever, gender or location, have access to education, reduce disparity between urban and rural areas. As I've said, that's equity. Then accessibility now. Locate schools within reasonable distance or transport availability for students. That was school mapping take care of, and then addresses barriers like train, poverty and special needs to improve school attendance. Then the list, that is the quality in education. That's number 4 of the national development goal, that it focuses on providing well-equipped schools, trained teachers and adequate learning materials for schools, for children, and ensures the environment is conducive to learning with proper facilities and inclusive curricula. Thank you very much. If you have any question, anything to discuss, or you get to class with trash it or you drop your question. Thank you for listening and God bless you.